Welcome to my yoga mat. My name is Gabby and I'm super excited to share with y'all just some of my favorite yoga poses for beginners. I got really southern there. I've been doing yoga for a while, but I still would consider my level somewhere between beginner and intermediate just based on my skill level. But what I love about yoga is that it doesn't really matter. You can do any pose at any skill level as long as you modify it. A quick disclaimer, I want to point out that I am not a certified yoga instructor. I would eventually like to be. I'm working towards that. But as of right now, I am not a professional in any capacity. The form you see me do may be, slightly incorrect because I do mostly have a home-based practice, although I do try to stay informed and really aware of how I'm using my body. And to always just be aware that everyone's bodies are different. Poses that I can go deeper into, you may not be able to, and vice versa. But these are just some of my poses that you can do all together like a flow, or just separate as a nice deep stretch or meditation. So hop on a mat with me, or take some notes and let's get started. The first pose that I want to share with you is extended child's pose. So this, when my back is really hurting or I really need, something more than just a standard child's pose, this is my go-to pose. I do it all the time. I like to do it when I first wake up in the morning, before I go to bed, and I like to start and finish each and every one of my yoga practices with this pose. This is a fairly simple pose to get into, and just remember that it may not be as accessible for everyone. I like to start in a nice tabletop position just to get myself properly in line. And then you'll send your hips back, you send your arms out to the front of the mat. It might help if you widen your knees. You want to send your knees to the outer edges of the mat, and you just sink down while keeping your hands reaching forward. So this is a great pose, like I said, for a really deep stretch, mentally or physically. Now back to tabletop position. My next favorite pose is a sequence of poses. It is cat-cow pose. And so cow pose looks something like this. And that makes sense, right? So you're making sure that you're not collapsing into your fingertips, but that you're spreading your fingers wide and pushing up out of your mat. When you're looking up towards the sky, make sure you keep your ankles in line. You'll notice mine tend to go in. And then cat pose. It's like a Halloween cat, right? Again, not collapsing. I will widen my palms if I feel like I'm collapsing. And really engaging your core here. So you're going to see some little stomach rolls, but this is what it looks like if I'm not engaging my core. And when I engage my core, you can really see the lift down here and also up here. So that is cat-cow pose, and that is one of my favorites. I have a lot of back and neck pain, and so I find that really helpful, and it's a really, really easy pose for beginners. Another pose, of course, that I love for beginners is downward dog, and I will go ahead and set myself up for that. There's lots of different ways to get into downward dog. My favorite way is from a tabletop position. Spread your fingers really wide, and you want to root down into all of your knuckles, all of your fingers. A way to do this is to lift your fingertips off the mat, ground down, and then place them in, and then claw down with those fingertips. So you shouldn't be really doing anything with your wrist. It should all be those pads on the different parts of your fingers. Then I curl my toes up, and I haven't done my yoga today, so I'm pretty stiff. And then you go from your hips. And I love wearing a big baggy shirt like this when I do downward dog because it makes a lot of fun. When you're first starting out for the day or for your practice, start with the knees bent and really melt your heart. And as you loosen up, you can start to pedal out and straighten your legs, planting one into the mat at a time. Everyone's downward dog is going to look a little bit different, but you want to make sure you're rotating your upper arm bones out and your upper leg bones in a little bit. You can point your big toes in a little bit to help you. And again, it's about feeling properly aligned in your body as opposed to what the shape looks like. So when I look at myself on the camera, my downward dog could look better, but I feel stable and strong, and I feel a good stretch while maintaining a safe position for my back, knees, wrists, etc. Downward dog is a great option for beginners. Once you really get into your yoga practice, that will actually become a resting position for you. It may feel and look and sound really difficult right now, but that is one that you can go to over and over and over again. Downward dog is another one that even if the practice that I'm doing doesn't offer me a downward dog, I will take one at some point throughout the practice. I love that flush that it gives you. Alright, so another position that I really love, I have always found to just be one of the most enriching poses in my practice are really any type of hip opener. There's a few that I love that are great for beginners. Now, you have to be really careful with hip openers because they can put a lot of stress on your knees, and especially as you are beginning, you definitely want to take a lot of care with that. So I'm going to show you this from two angles. I'm going to show you pigeon pose. There's lots of different ways to get into it. An easy way is to come in from a tabletop, bring your leg out like so. Now, when you see people who've been practicing a long time, they're going to be pretty horizontal. I tend to go pretty almost diagonally in, and that is a-okay. You want to get that deep stretch in your hips without causing damage to your knee. Make sure these toes are awake and active though, no matter where they are. When I do this, I notice some pinching in my knee, and when I do this, my knee feels strong and supported. So this is what it should look like from the front. You want to lift up high. For beginners, I would definitely recommend staying here. If you're more advanced, you can slowly melt your heart forward, stay here, or melt all the way to the ground. Now I'm going to show you from the side because really the foundation of this pose is your back leg, and I can actually see mine is not really doing what it's supposed to be. There it is now. Again, so if you're staying up here, make sure you're really almost getting a mini back bend here, just reaching your chest forward, and if you do go down, that you maintain that openness as you sink down lower. So super easy practice, or pose, pardon me, for beginners. If you're really, really a beginner, a way to take a modified pigeon pose is to go here, or take it down onto your back. And I'll show you the pigeon pose from the side, and I'll just use my other leg just so I can get an even hip stretch. So again, that's a little crooked. So again, there's lots of different ways to come into this. I'll actually show you another way you can come into it. It's from downward dog. So if you start in a downward dog, you anchor down one foot, kick your other foot up, and shift your weight forward. Come on to that leg. Alright, so actually I will scoot up so that you can see me properly. So again, you'll work towards getting your leg here. That's something you want to work really safely towards. Some days I'm up there, and other days I'm here clearly. Now, like I mentioned, your back leg is the foundation of this practice. So you want to make sure you have a straight line from your hip to your toes. Keep those active. Keep these toes active. Again, if you're staying up here, as high up as you can go without compromising your low back. Keeping your chest open, rolling your shoulders back away from your ears. And again, if you're going to bring it forward, maintaining that openness as you go down or as you go down. Something I like to incorporate that is a bit more advanced, but that beginners can definitely play with, is bringing this back leg up and even incorporating a lovely side stretch in. Again, something to work towards. One of my last favorite poses for beginners is Baddha Konasana. This is a great heart opener, hip opener. It's a great excuse to keep your feet a little massage. And again, it's when you can stay up here. You can lift your hips if you need something to help you sit up higher, or you can start to bring it forward, looking straight down. And then to get a really nice low back stretch, you can round through, keep everything really low. So those are just some of my favorite yoga poses for beginners, for the foundation of my practice. I'll be posting more videos like this, just slowly introducing you guys to different poses. If you are interested in some professional guidance towards yoga, there's a lot of great resources out there. But if you just want to talk to someone who is a fellow aspiring yogi, I am definitely a great resource for you, and I can point you in the direction of more professional resources, certified yoga teachers. As always, I really recommend Yoga with Adriene. She and her community have been foundational in my yoga practice, and I'm sure she would agree with me on a lot of these great poses for beginners. Try out these poses, send me a picture of you doing them, or make up a little creative flow incorporating all of the poses that I've shown you. I would love to see it. Let me know if you have any questions down below, or if there are any yoga poses you would like me to show you, or that maybe you think I should try. Anyway, that is enough about me and my yoga practice. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to sharing some time with you soon. Goodbye.